Good morning, I'm Annabelle Sedano. We begin with breaking news. We want to go to live pictures from News Chopper 4. A procession is underway to honor 3 Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department deputies. They are Detective Joshua Kelly, Eckland Detective Victor Lemos, and Detective William Osborne. All 3 died last week at a department training center. Let's go to Julia Dang. She's live overhead in News Chopper 4. Julia.
Good morning, Annabelle. I'm zooming in right now on the vehicles that are actually carrying the bodies of those 3 fallen detectives to the mortuary in West Covina. And I'm going to zoom out now and show you this procession. Their family members, their colleagues from the LA County Sheriff's Department, and we have seen first responders, firefighters standing on overpasses over the 10 freeway to pay their final respects, to give them a final salute. It was just 1 week ago that they were killed in that explosion at an LA County Sheriff's Department training facility. But now this procession is headed eastbound on the 10 freeway, and we believe their final destination is going to be the mortuary in Covina.
You know, we're looking at these live images, and the first thing that comes to mind is the procession that we saw on Friday, and how heartbreaking that was for so many people who were just waiting for these vehicles to drive by. And here we are again a week later.
And Annabelle, the pain, I think, is still raw for their family, their colleagues, and all of LA County. I mean, we watched the investigation unfold live from News Chopper 4 just 1 week ago. And moments ago, outside the coroner's office in East LA, we watched colleagues actually loading the caskets, holding their bodies into these vehicles. And we could see the emotion in their faces as they said a final farewell and this procession began. But if we can actually pull up video from when this started, you can see the American flag that was draped over each of their caskets, the huge flag that firefighters unfurled over the start of this procession, and the long line of LA County vehicles and fire department vehicles from the city of LA that are now part of this procession, again, headed east on the 10 freeway, we believe toward Covina.
You know, Julia, again, these were 3 veterans. Collectively, they had 74 years. This was a long time that they dedicated their life in service to our community and protecting. And it's just so hard, to know that they had so much experience. And here we are, again, following this procession. For 3 people who just had been in the department for so many years, so well trained, I have to add.
Absolutely. I mean, the LA County Sheriff, Robert Luna, mentioned that in his very first press conference addressing this accident. And it was a tragic accident of historic proportion. I mean, the Sheriff's Department has not had a loss of life this large since 1857. And Annabelle, some more numbers to throw out at you here. It's not just 74 years of collective service between these 3 men. This was another metric that just took my breath away. They leave behind 16 children.
Yeah. 16 children, their families, and of course a community just completely devastated over this. You said it, Julia, a loss of life. There hasn't been one since 1857. And we want to just tell our viewers that on the right side of your screen, you're seeing a ground picture there with the American flag just hanging, and officers there as well, firefighters. And then you see Julia's shot on the left hand of your screen. This, again, is so emotional for so many people who are watching this. And these are, again, the 3 detectives that were killed. Again, 74 years collectively in the department, giving their service to our community. And like you said, Julia, 16 children that they leave behind.
16 children, and I believe, Annabelle, we saw family members when the caskets were being loaded into these vehicles standing by. We saw a couple of them taking photos and just having a private moment there. But this loss absolutely felt by the general public. 74 years of combined service. These were not just experienced public servants, but Sheriff Luna said these were some of the most elite detectives on their force, part of what we call the bomb squad, the arson explosives detail within the Special Enforcement Bureau. And you can see along this procession route on the 10 freeway headed east, quite a few cars. And I believe those are civilian vehicles who've stopped and people have gotten out to salute these detectives as they pass by.
You know, and again, as we are looking at these live images, we have to say that this investigation is still ongoing. We're still trying to figure out why that device was taken to that center there, why it wasn't treated as if it were an active explosive device there. You know, still so many answers. You know, we've seen this investigation go to Santa Monica and Marina del Rey. So investigators are still trying to piece all of this together and figure out why this all happened.
So many questions, Annabelle. I've actually lost count of how many times we have launched in News Chopper 4 to go to different locations associated with this investigation, which, as you mentioned, is still ongoing. But several search warrants had now been served. We flew to Santa Monica, we flew to Marina del Rey, and we're still waiting for answers. I think all of Los Angeles is, and so many people nationwide and worldwide, in fact, have zeroed in on this story. Because, sadly, we cover officer processions all too frequently. I believe we just had one a couple weeks ago for LAPD. But when was the last time we had a procession like this for 3 fallen detectives? I know for the LA County Sheriff's Department, it's been more than a century and a half since they had a loss of life like this. So truly unprecedented loss and sadness here.
For anybody who's just joining us, it is 11:07 and we are looking at live images. The procession is now underway to honor 3 Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department deputies. They are Detective Joshua Kelly Eklund, Detective Victor Lemus, and Detective William Osborne. You may remember all 3 of them died last week at a department training center. And as Julie and I have been speaking, you know, we've been talking about how this investigation is still ongoing. We still don't have so many of the answers that could address the reason why this happened. Again, these were veteran detectives, 74 years collectively that they gave to our community.
And Annabelle, these elite, experienced, well-trained detectives, you know, they had the highest level of training for this kind of work they do. So those questions about this accident, how this happened, and how that grenade that the Sheriff's Department says was recovered the night before the explosion happened last Friday, how that exploded, that is still very much under investigation. But the different locations we flew to, again, connected with this ongoing investigation were Santa Monica and Marina del Rey. We are now in Alhambra, still headed east on the 10 freeway toward the mortuary in Covina. And the accident itself was in East LA at the LA County Sheriff's Training Facility. And I'm going to zoom in here now on yet another overpass, this one in Alhambra. And you can see the firefighters here, first responders, saluting these 3 fallen detectives.
It really is emotional as we look at these live images. Julia, and if you can just briefly let us know, remind our viewers where this procession is headed to.
That's right. So this started, Annabelle, in East LA. They're headed east on the 10 freeway. Garfield Avenue is going to be the next exit. That's just west of here. They are headed east toward Covina. And we believe their final destination is going to be a mortuary there. Family members, colleagues will gather, and that is just west of Grand Avenue, north of the 10 freeway.
All right, Julia Dang, live for us overhead in News Chopper 4. And we, of course, are going to continue to stream this on the NBC Los Angeles News Channel.